Sup, dudes? So, I think the biggest thing that stops people from achieving really any of their goals, but definitely language learning goals, is not having a plan, or at least not having a good plan, right? You don't have a plan, you're just kind of doing random applications here, random applications there, and really never making much progress. You put in a lot of work, but you don't actually go forward. You're kind of just going side to side, making yourself feel like you're doing a lot. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years pass, and you're like, I'm still not really where I want to be. Don't worry, me and my sloppy handwriting are going to show you how to make a good plan for you, a personalized plan for yourself to help keep you on track in 2025 and get you where you need to be. So follow along with me. And next time, maybe I won't use a marker, or maybe I'll just write it out before so that it actually looks good. But don't worry about that. It's going to be all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the top and build our way down. We're going to reverse engineer, right? So the first thing we need to do is define fluency. And this is going to be different. Oh my God, my handwriting's horrible. This is going to be different for every single person, right? So you have to define it for yourself. What is fluency to you, right? For me, it's being able to talk about everything in my daily life, the things that I like to do from home to work, right? So for me, we got sports, work, daily life, small talk. Now, like I said, this is going to be different for everyone. You have to define what fluency is for you. You have to define what comes with each of those, right? Now, when we go into each category, I need to define what is going to be under here, right? What am I going to be talking about in sports? For me, weightlifting, boxing, you know, parts of the body. I deal with that a lot in sports, right? You're going to hear certain terms in boxing and in weightlifting pretty much every single time, right? Weightlifting, I need to know las rodillas. Boxing, I need to know la quijada. I need to know la cara. I need to know, terms for punches, right? Los golpes. I need to know ganchos, jab, recto. I need to know all of that stuff so that if I was going to have a conversation about that, I could, right? For work, I'm not going to tell you guys what I do, but just know these are connected. I'm a coach, so not that much of a difference for me. Daily life, right? Small talk, uh, conversations. We don't even have to go into detail. Small talk is going to be conversations about, your family. One thing you're going to always get as someone that speaks Spanish, that's from America, you're going to get, ¿Cómo aprendiste español? You should have some kind of preloaded answer. You're going to hear that 1,000 times in your journey. You should probably know how you're going to respond to that, right? So now that we have those defined, those things that we know we're going to have to talk about, right? I don't need to put engineering on here. I don't need to put cars. I don't know anything about cars in English. I don't know anything about rocket launchers. Oh, yes, I do. I don't know anything about rockets in English. So that's, to me, I'm still fluent in English. It's my native language. And I can't talk about those things. So as long as I can talk about what's happening in my life, I believe that I'm fluent. So let's go into what we need to talk about each of those things. So in order to be able to talk about this, 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 we're gonna need to practice. We're gonna need to get some input, and we have to practice saying it. Input, output. You need that across the board. With all of these, you're not gonna get better unless you listen to how native speakers say things and you practice saying it as well. Now, when we're talking about this input, native speakers, like I just said, sorry for the horrible handwriting, but you're following a video, so it doesn't really matter. You're listening to me say it. Native speakers, what is that going to be? Podcasts, movies, songs, actual watching the sports, right? Um, yeah, it's really simple. Like, listen to the things that you want to be able to say. I'm not going to listen to a podcast about, um, I don't know. I'm not going to listen to a podcast about being a gynecologist that has no application in my life. It might be interesting, but like all the stuff that I learn on there, I'm probably never going to use it in real life, right? So then it's going to create a feeling of not being fluent when it's time for me to talk to people. I'm going to have all this vocabulary about stuff that I don't do. And when people ask me simple questions about my work, my daily life, the sports that I like, I'm not going to be able to talk about it. They're going to assume that I don't speak great Spanish, right? Output, conversations. That's easy. Find yourself a native speaker, have conversations. But it doesn't only have to just be conversations with native speakers. You can also role play with yourself, uh, or interact with. If you're listening to a podcast, you can pretend like they ask you the question, right? If you're watching a movie, you can pretend like they said the thing to you and you can respond. You can practice without actually having a real person. Obviously, that's not as great as a real conversation, but you can still do it. Now, when we talk about this input, output, we got these defined. We know what we need to do for these. We need to think about all the grammar concepts that exist and think about how much of that we would need for all of this, right? So let's say, can I have a conversation about sports, work, daily life? Can I do that only in the present tense? I would say no, but I would say I need that present tense, right? So we'll just take both of these, make sure we practice the present tense. Can I talk about what I did at work, my daily life? Can I talk about those without using the past? I might be able to talk in my daily life. You could get away with having small talk conversations only in the present tense, right? If you're just talking about, oh, I like to do this. This is what I used to study. This is what I blah blah blah. In work, probably not. My coworkers ask me 50,000 times, "What did you eat today? Did you eat breakfast today? What did you do this weekend?" Right? So I need the past tense. Uh, Jesus Christ, my handwriting is horrible. I need the past tense to talk about these things. And like I said, we're keeping it super simple. This is just an idea for you to use. The future. Can I get away with talking about these things without the future? Again, daily life, small talk, maybe. I still think even in small talk, people ask you like, do you have plans for this weekend? Do you have plans for the holiday? Blah blah blah. In work, definitely. In sports, definitely. People are gonna ask you who you're going for. Are you gonna attend this game? Are you gonna watch this game? Are you gonna watch this fight? You cannot get away with talking about these things without using the future. A little something a little higher. We'll go with the subjunctive, right? Can I talk about daily life without using the subjunctive? Absolutely. Probably won't be a great conversation, but you definitely can. Like I said, you can get away with only using the present tense in the most basic of basic conversations. You can even look at a lot of YouTubers that are starting off and they post their conversations. You probably won't hear much subjunctive in them if you hear any at all. Like I said, for me at work, no, I work with native Spanish speakers. I can't get away with not using the subjunctive. Sports, can I get away with not using the subjunctive? Maybe. They won't be great sports conversations. And a lot of sports conversations, you're having hypotheticals, right? Like, what would have happened if this didn't happen? What would have happened if they threw the ball? What would have happened if the ref stopped the fight earlier or didn't stop the fight, right? You're going to hear a lot of, um, do you think this would have been different? ¿Crees que las cosas habrían diferente si blank hubiera pasado? Si el árbitro hubiera parado la pelea, right? Stuff like that. Like, would this have happened if this didn't happen? So you can't have a great sports conversation without the subjunctive. And there's a lot more that goes into all of these little grammar things, but the point is, think about the most basic grammar concepts and ask yourself, do you need them? Now that you know that you need all of this stuff, You, like I said, you just reverse engineered this. You know exactly what you need to get to fluency. All you have to do now is practice, bro. All you have to do is say, I need to make sure I know all the present tense conjugations. I need to make sure I know the past tense conjugations. I need to make sure I know the future. I need to make sure I know how to use the subjunctive. And I need to know the vocab for these things. If you follow that and you achieve what you're trying to do, you will have, your definition of speaking fluency. Like I said, that definition might be wrong to someone else, but it really doesn't matter, bro. I could tell you right now, like, hey, I'm not a fluent English speaker. And you'll say, yes, you are. You're a native English speaker. You are fluent. And I'll say, well, I can't talk about cars and I can't talk about, um, I don't know, back surgery and stuff like that. And they go, oh, that stuff doesn't matter. You're still a fluent English speaker. It doesn't matter. Whatever. The fact is, I can communicate. So it's the same way in Spanish or whatever language you're learning. You might say, I'm fluent because of this, and another person might say, no, you're not. Okay, what changes now? I'm still having these conversations, and vice versa. I might say I'm not fluent, and you say, oh, well, you made it to such a high level. That's definitely fluency. Who cares, bro? Who cares whether it's fluency or not? As long as it fits your personal definition and you're achieving your goal, that's all that matters. So take this, make your own plan, and let me tell you the most important thing of this plan. Actually, the most important part is that you get someone that has already achieved what you're trying to achieve, or someone that is at a high level to approve your plan. Because if you made this plan, you might have not included some of this stuff because you don't know it exists, or you didn't think about the possibility of blah 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 happening. Bro, I do all of this stuff for no money. If you want to send me your plan, or if you want me to help you make a plan, I will help you, bro. Just hit me up and just be like, hey, I want to reach fluency. What do you think I need to do if this is my job and blah blah. I'll tell you for free. You can comment on this video and I will help you make a plan. So get someone to approve your plan. They can help you fill in some gaps in here that you might not even think of, right? So hopefully this video helped. Please don't make fun of my handwriting. I'll cry. I'm very sensitive. And next time, if you like this, maybe I'll get someone else to do the visual for me. All right. Y'all have a good day. I hope you reach your fluency goals in 2025. I know you can do it. Have a nice day. Peace.